Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Metaworld News. Now we have been away for a week, so I've just realised, in fact, that I ought to be flipping back, quite literally in Flipboard, to 2 weeks ago,
Oh, right.
not just one. Yes, I've forgotten all about that. Anyway, these are going to be our headlines for the week ending, or rather the fortnight ending, the 7th of which one is it? October. Yeah. Not quite November yet, but September definitely gone. Yeah, so that does make it October, doesn't
Mm-hmm.
it? Right. Oh dear. It will be that holiday season and the new year before we know it.
Too true.
All right. But not yet, despite what most of the retailers, all the big shops, they're selling these things called Christmas things already.
Mm.
And apparently those aren't necessary till the end of December, but go figure. We haven't even had the bonfire night yet. Come on. Right. Okay. If you want to follow links and stuff or get a regular update, you can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me personally. Our name's Mal Burns at twitter.com/Malburns, all one word, Malburns. Or you can also follow twitter.com/MetaWorld News, or one word, just as in the name of this particular bulletin. The links and items that go up in the MetaWorld News Bulletin are by and large to do with virtual worlds, interactive spaces, and platforms like that. The Malbones feed is a somewhat wider brief because my interest is computer human computer interfacing almost, so that obviously 3D hardware, anything new happening there, or any innovations happening, and a much a wider berth, as it were, of links there. And those, in fact, are the links I'm actually going to start with now. I'm just going to be popping up my highlights feed for what has been going on lately. And while I'm talking here, I'm just flipping ahead a bit more so that I'm looking at 2 weeks instead of one, because yes, you guessed it. um, okay, I'm going to start. Well, I've got some here 2 weeks ago. I think we may have done them. I'm going to rush through them rather than go into anything else. A VR chair that fights simulation sickness. At the cost of hand controls, they say. That was supposed to uploadvr.com about 2 weeks ago. Voicesofvr.com, which is an audio podcast about all sorts of stuff VR and related. 695, that's the episode number. Diversity training and testing for implicit bias with Debius VR, I think is his pronunciation. Uploadvr.com also has a post on VR's killer apps, which will be created by the next generation of developers. And Upload VR also has a post about Sony patenting a VR headset that combats simulation sickness. Um, I think we did this 2 weeks ago. ABC 7 Chicago Com
Sounds
as opposed
familiar.
to.
Yeah.
Yes, as a Toronto businessman brings a sex robot brothel to Texas. Well, you got to love these headlines, haven't you? Right, digitaltrends.com had something about Tap Strap, which is a wearable keyboard for VR. Um, 697 voicesofvr.com episode has a tour of phenomenon. Yes, long words. Philosophers and embodied insights into VR, and virtual reality dash newsnet has how 5G technologies will drive adoption of AR and VR, and VR and language learning, how VR can crack the language code. That's another one at vrscout.com. And where are we? I think I'm getting a bit more up to date now. Fit in my 40s. It's not Grand Theft Auto thrilling, but VR running is incredible. This is a post in the Guardian newspaper here in the UK from their regular, mainstream journalist, Sir Williams. Who did some virtual cycling and obviously thoroughly liked it. Right, that's at theguardian.com about a couple of weeks ago. And I think we're coming up to, it still says 2 weeks. Universal Mind and Quantum Mechanics, Idealism as a Fundamental Consciousness and VR. God, that's a handful. Voicesofvr.com, of course. And new features coming to Google's Daydream VR headsets. This is a post which is definitely now only about a week ago. This is at digitalbodies.net. And uh, at the time, the news was about to focus on the Oculus Connect conference, which of course is now over. But they were going through all the new features Google have announced for Daydream VR. Using real-time biofeedback and VR to train positive thinking with Helium XR. This is number 699 of voicesofvr.com. It's I don't know how to announce all these, really, do I? Right, Mozilla launched Firefox Reality with aim for the ground up standalone mixed reality capability. This is a post, editorial post, really. It's virtual reality news.net. It's a bit background detail on what what's the word, the road ahead for Mozilla with the Firefox Reality thing. Which you can also get, of course, now. It's a browser interface in 3D, but it even works on Oculus Go and some of the, you don't necessarily have to have the high-tech headsets for that stuff. Creating Virtuality Journalism, a guide of best practices. Oh, that's 2 weeks ago too. PBS.org. And Ryan Schultz, who posts quite a lot of stuff, ryanschultz.com, that's RYANSCHULTZ.com. The first thing I've got here from his site is VibeHub has launched their portal. He was writing about a blockchain based virtual world called VibeHub back in March, and apparently their first portal has now gone live. Okay, one more page before we're definitely on this week. Voices of VR again, number 700. Oh, that's easy to read out. 6 psychonauts on VR, psychedelics and consciousness transformation. That was a week ago. Um, and yeah, that's okay. I haven't got a direct link here. You'll have to go to the feed to find something to click on. Quick link like Chico address. Oculus at their Connect thing. They announced Oculus Quest, which is a fully wireless VR headset shipping next spring for $399, which isn't that expensive. Um, I mean, it's probably only double the price of Oculus Go. Um, I gather this will be, it'll be Oculus Go, but with extra controllers and extra sensors and stuff like that. I mean, the high-end version of Oculus Go, I think, is the idea, but crucially, sort of untethered. Right, it's looking at vrscout.com. It's a bit late, unfortunately. YouTube's bootcamp made its way over here to London, England, but Creator Lab. But that's nice big photo of all the attendees, I must say. But right, will Facebook's Oculus Quest, this is the same one I just mentioned, help virtual reality become a reality? Well, I don't know the answer to that, but the IndianExpress.com have words to say about this. So that's Indian, as in the opposite of cowboys, but actually not even the American one, but the um, the continental
The
one. Oh, you know
continental.
what I mean. It's IndianExpress.com. Right, let's go there. Right, Virtuality Dash Newsnet 4 days ago. Virtuality reduces pain during exercise. Fine study. Well, I don't think it's the first study to have found that out, to be honest. But this is the School of Engineering and Digital Arts at the University of Kent over here in the UK. So more of that at virtuality-news.net. And VLScout.com has the lead article here on Haptex gloves. That's HAPT. And then X, a capital X on the end of that. So Haptex gloves will help transform VR training and design. And that's at vrscout.com. Digitalbodies.net, again, they had one to them earlier. Oh, there's two here to them, actually. Feel virtuality experiences with the rig. This is spelled RYG. And the rig is a haptic vest that gives you new ways to feel VR experiences. So, of course, if you get one of these things called a rig and get a pair of haptics gloves from the last piece, and there's some special treadmill shoes you can get. Although I don't quite know how they work because when you move with shoes on, you're still actually moving and likely to bump a wall. Uh, Go figure, go figure. Anyway, howtogeek.com. This is quite a nice site. I get a lot of feeds popping up from them
Yeah,
through
yeah.
another feed. Um, Oculus Quest is an impressive piece of hardware, blah, blah, blah. The headline article is today's VR is just the start. Here's what's coming in the future. So obviously they start with the release of Oculus Quest, and then look at stuff coming your way soon. So that you'll find at howtogeek.com, and it's actually all one word, three words. It's one word if you see what I mean. So HOWTOGEEK.com. Right, more from digitalbodies.net. Um, Collaborating and working in VR is a step closer to reality with the new Dream platform. But there are some challenges to overcome before we get there. Still, multi-user platforms are surely in VR's future. Digitalbodies.net. Title of the article: Working in VR with the Dream Collaboration Tool. And I'm afraid this isn't exactly what I would call interop, but it's always nice to see that collaboration is on people's agendas. All right, podcast 40, but no, it's not voices of VR.com. It is the psychology of games.com. All one word there, in case you can't spell psychology, folks. I will read it. PSYCHOLOGYOFGAMES.com. Post by Jamie Madigan. Our avatar relationships. So that's podcast number 40 in their series. How your avatars relate to each other and stuff. And they're quite nice. It's the illustration at the top end of this article is one of those ones you look at and think, is that a drawn cartoon or is that a picture of avatars on some platform or other? You're not quite sure which. And if it's on the platform, I'm not quite sure which either. But it's crazy thing of people hanging out together, really. Magic Leap, yes, yes, the ones that finally we know what they're doing. Magic Leap's first developer conference will be live streamed, yes. Post here at uploadvr.com. Magic Leap has set to host what no doubt it hopes will be the Oculus Connect of the AR world next week as it hosts its first ever Leap conference, LEAP conference in Los Angeles. Do not be confused with the Leap Motion. It's simply called the LEAP with a dot between them. So I guess well, there's no M in it. I guess Leap is from Magic Leap, and I don't know what it stands for. Leap Enterprise and Associated um, Programs. I don't know. Never mind. Never mind. Click on uploadvr.com if you want to know more about that. That's actually happening this week, and you can actually. I'm just going to quickly open it for you because I'm nice, and if for the bit of that, Windows would be nice as well. Maybe not. Oh no, there it is. Right. I'm just doing it so that I can find out if I can. Where the keynote kicks off 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. British time on October the 10th, which is a few days from now, isn't it? What did I say today? Was 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. Yeah, Wednesday by the look of it. Um, The reviewer here is very excited because apparently Star Wars and Angry Birds, Angry Birds, good grief, will, will be on will be on Leap. Um, this isn't very helpful. I've opened it up and I can confirm that it is going to be live streamed. What I can't tell you is where the hell it is going to be live streamed. That's what I was hoping to find out, but it's apparently not willing to tell us. Okay, oh, more pages here. Right, yesterday here. UploadVR.com. The Dextra Global VR Summit is happening inside VR this month. Now, I really don't know much about who or what Dextra are, but they are holding a summit discussing global VR affairs. And October 27th, for a couple of days, seems to be the dates we're talking about there. Anyway, go to uploadvr.com. That article just came up yesterday, so if you want to know more about that, I would say it's sort of fairly high level VR talk, and quite possibly it's got that hardware look about it rather than software. Right, the wild, that's an expression, the wild, as in wild geese or wild women. The wild is a platform for collaborative 3D design in AR and VR. And this is a post of vrscout.com. Again, I'm just going to open it to see if I can get you any other quick info, since it is right up to date, as it were. Um, right, basically, this is a 3D design platform that works in a similar way to Google Docs. The Wild finally opened the gates to its cloud platform for collaborative VR, 3D design across both VR and AR. And let's see, they've got a YouTube video you can watch. I would so call this, well, it looks fairly robust. Very simple lines, sort of CAD vector art type of look to it. Although pretty detailed. It's certainly it's no pixel dream world like Second Life for OpenSim, or even a mesh, glorious mesh world like many of the other new ones. Um, Okay, I am planning to try this out because the Wild actually there is a version of this available for the iPad, and when they were launching, actually there was a woman actually on the stage, and she loaded the app into the her iPad and connected to somebody else who was against a sort of matte coloured background, and on the opposite side of a room, somebody who was in a Vive headset and a pair of One controllers, and connected all the devices together, and people in the audience were able to watch the result. Yeah, it must have been quite a gig, really. Anyway, if you want to find out more about it, and know it's something I'm probably going to have a look at, check out vrscout.com. For that post, which is about yesterday, I believe. Right. By the users, for the users, of the users. This is well, actually, this is still going on now. It's on the final day. Avatarfest.net. This is the website that can tell you what's going on with the Avatar Fest that's happening at the moment. I was there on Friday for the opening, and I got there briefly again yesterday for one of the performances before being shuffled over to Science Space by the same performer. And previous to that, I'd even been in the crowd thing at High Fidelity, but I'll get to that in a minute because that's more um, world news, so to speak. Um, Okay, so avatarfest.net if you want to know more about the final day today of that festival and where to go, etc. Voicesofvr.com again. Um, Number 702, the virtual reality exercise revolution. Empirical data from the VR Institute for Health and Exercise. There must be a VR institute for just about everything now, or similar. Astonishing, really. Um, there's probably more organisations dedicated to this than there are users, in my opinion. But I don't know. Apparently, there's all sorts of stuff going on here in the data field for exercise. We've got tennis, we've got walking, we've got elliptical, we've got rowing, we've got swimming, we've got biking, we've got sprinting, and lots of exercisey stuff, I guess. Go to voicesvl.com if you want to hear an interview about all that exercising in VR. Also on my feed, there is. Huh. Okay, there's actually a picture of high fidelity on the Malbone's Twitter feed. I think that's by way of retweeting somebody else. So, um, got to have pictures now and again, haven't we? Oh, Windows, please do your thing. Thank you. Okay, 22 hours ago. This is the same one we had earlier. It's different. Upload VR has an article on haptics, unveiling their haptical gloves so that you can feel things in VR. This is HAPTX. Is how you. People like putting X's on the end of normal words to sound trendy these days, don't they? Right. In my day, it was Z's, so it's not new.
Mm-hmm.
It's not you. I do. Actually, no. X is like comics with an X was the
Right.
thing. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, X's and Z's. It's quite cool, isn't it? Right.
Yep.
The company Dream is named appropriately. For 3 years, it's been working on an online collaboration tool that helps people view websites in the Chrome browser in virtual reality. So, Dream launches an online VR collaboration productivity tool and upload VR yet again on that one. And now I really am at the front page. Right. So that's the highlights on my sort of general feed at Mal Burns. I'm also going to just quickly look at what has been up on the site for this program, the Twitter Metaworld News. Um, Wow, it's got a sign up link for Hyperdosis. Wonder why. Right, one BL and okay. A few weeks ago we had an interview on our companion programming World Review with Art Blue, and he was talking about his Biennale in Metropolis. I went to the opening of that, which was it a week ago or two? I think it's more like 2 weeks ago. Anyway, but anyway, one of there is a blog called millionhappyendings.wordpress.com. This, in generally speaking, tends to be a blog about things in Second Life, but Art Blue, of course, is in Second Life too. But they've posted an article on the one Biennale, get this right, in Metropolis, which is an open sim grid, and the one I've got here is part two, which was published yesterday. But as I flip back, there is a part one too, so you can read out about Art Blue and all this stuff, plus a lot of nice light photos at million happy endings, all one word, .wordpress.com. Right, no use telling you that Singer Girl performed live last night because it was last night. Yeah, part one of that same article is up earlier in the week. Oh yes, well, there's several posts on this, but Hypergrid Business had a post. It's actually written by Valerie Hill, whose place it is that's been talked about, basically. Second Life-based community virtual library has now expanded to two branches in OpenSim. One of them is on Kitely and one of them is on the Avacon grid. There are two separate library branches, and if you want to go to hypergridbusiness.com and read about it, post would have been a few days ago. Um, she tells you the difference between the one on Kitely and the one on Avacon and what they're trying to do. The one in Avacon is a sort of sub area of the Rockcliffe University area on the Avacon grid. So yeah, interesting stuff happening there. Um, Okay, the OpenSync Community Convention this year happens first week of December, and a call for proposals has already gone out. I appear to have it here as a simple tweet from Leo Lobo. You can certainly find posts about it on Google Plus, probably Facebook, probably everywhere under the sun eventually. Um, if you go, yeah, the link leads to conference.opensimulator.org. And if you go there, you'll find the form for the call of proposals and various other stuff about the conference coming up. You probably still find a little bit of old stuff there from last year's conference, but certainly information-wise, the site is live with information for this year. Um, right. Right, osgrid.org. Now, this is the website actually for OS Grid, which is an open simulator grid. But they actually were advertising earlier in the week there was a new version of some OS Grid software, server software, this is, that you can download from them. Why it's from OS Grid and not from opensimulator.org, I'm not quite sure, but there is I guess, a slightly tweaked version of the OS Grid server you can use. We had yesterday, I mentioned we had a load test at high fidelity, and suffice to say that we had a lot of bouncing, jumping avatars all in one space. In other words, not on a grid or anything like that. There was a concurrency, in fact, of 425 avatars, all in one space, and they were fully res. They weren't phantom or anything else. There is actually a new thing they've added to the servers, which reduces detail of the avatars as they're further away from you. But even ones in the distance are very clear. It's simply they don't resolve the pixel detail until, basically if you walk up to somebody and start talking to them, only then do you get to see the best possible picture of them. And dismiss, dismiss, dismiss. I'm sorry, the Apple Watch wants me to stand up and walk around. Um, it doesn't seem to appreciate that I'm busy broadcasting. Right. Um, VR chats have instituted a new safety and trust mechanism to combat griefers. Well, you can read all about this at Ryan Schultz's gig, ryanschultz.com. And that post from him was about a week ago. He has a few other posts too. Sansar pick of the day, value in the virtual at Arc Des. This is actually a real world art exhibition in Stockholm, Sweden. And they've made a virtual counterpart in Linden Lab's Sansar platform. And there's value in the virtual is an exhibit by London-based Space Popular. Um, all this according to the Architect's newspaper. Anyway, you find that at ryanschultz.com too. And also, he has a post on national cybersecurity awareness events in Sansar. October is apparently National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. I would have thought every day was National Cybersecurity Awareness Day, actually. But anyway, Mayer, the Information Security Director for Linden Lab, who are the creators of Second Leaf and Sensor, invited, I guess, Ryan to meet with her and look at some new experiences based on security. And a very pretty picture it is. So the flag says something about security at the Taj, but the build appears to be a virtual reality version of the Taj Mahal. So um, apparently that must relate to security somehow. Wonder how. Yes, no comment there. Right, the metaverse is coming to a webpage near you soon. Yeah, that just sounds like an advertiser. Who is this? Metaverse Traveler? That's Sandy Adam, I think. Metaverse-traveler.blogspot.com. And she's done a little piece on recently. There was mention of browser-based virtual space on the Google Plus OpenSim virtual community, which piqued her interest. And this isn't actually Cyber Lounge or the Web Worlds thing, which is sort of vaguely related. I think this is. She's clearly not a builder per se, but she's obviously done a fairly good job on mocking something up so she can show you. Um, right, she had been reading the article by Nara Malone, who we were speaking to a couple of weeks ago ourselves, and about how to, write a elementary 3D web world. And yeah, she's had a go at it basically. Um, Talos virtual space on a web page named after her grid and Far Worlds. Well, it would be helpful if she gave me a little link to give you, wouldn't it? Um, well, anyway, you can go to the article. Let me come back to the main page here. It's at metaverse-traveler.blogspot.com. The latter half of the article goes into a bit of history of everything from Tipodedium, which was Chris, what's his name? Actually, I think it was a Chris Linden at one point. He had a company called Tipedian, which were probably the first to try doing a virtual world on the web page. Moving forward, so she gives a nice little roundup of what's been happening where and when, as well as showing off her own presence there now. Right, dreams might make the metaverse a reality sooner than you think. This is a post at uploadvr.com, and I think Dreams is actually a PlayStation VR game, and it may it reckons it's quite important. It looks very nice, I must say. Um, you can also join. Now, let me check this isn't a last minute thing that's out of date. No, I don't think it is. Um, okay, the VR Awards, which kick off on October the 16th. If you want to attend in person, it's going to cost you 195 UK pounds, which makes me think it's probably happening in the UK. How weird. Anyway, the actual news article here, you can read about it at uploadvr.com. Is that presumably for somewhat less than 195 UK pounds, um, you'll be able to go for free if you are happy about attending in virtual reality. And it's the venue that you'll be joining through is Alt Space VR. Now I've been in Alt Space VR a few times. Can't say it's got any particularly magical qualities for me. But if it was simply a matter of going in there and sitting down for a conference and watching what's in front of me and saving myself £195, it might be worth it. So I'll hop along to Upload VR if you want to find out more about that. It's basically a way of going to a real world conference for Nout, an inexpensive conference at that. Exploring the health potential of VR, Yale Center for Health and Learning Games. This was the last episode. I think it was live, not last Wednesday, the Wednesday before, of Endgame. And so it's a YouTube embed, obviously. And yeah, Wednesday, 9/19. So yeah, it was 19th of September. As far as I know, that's the very last one, or there would have been another one embedded here by now. But basically, video chat about the health potential of VR. A bit like our program, except we're not talking about health here because we're unhealthy. Well, I am. Don't know about this bloke.
Not yet.
Don't know about this bloke. Are you unhealthy too? Or no, I think we can miss that diversion actually.
Knock
Right.
on wood. Healthy for now.
Knock on wood.
Right.
No further comment. No comment. Yes. Right. So the science space is pursuing the second life of virtual reality. That is quite a
Wow.
cheeky bit of thing, and a
Hmm.
huge mugshot of the photorealistic Adam Frisbee. I suspect it's not as cheeky as it might sound because I think the expression second life of virtuality was a creation of venturebeat.com when they were writing the article. I don't think Adam would actually have wanted to necessarily call himself the second life of virtual reality. Okay, VentureBeat have an article. Dean Takahashi wrote it. It does actually start with Linden Lab creating a memorable virtual world in 2003 that, believe it or not, is still going today. Oh, what? I knew this? Sorry. But Stevens, Linden Lab tries to create its Sansar virtual spaces for VR. Another rival has emerged to compete for the place for as the place for do-it-yourself creators in VR. And of course, that's science based, and they've been talking to Adam, and they mention Unity and everything else. And they didn't go back and mention Second Life and Sansar. They seem to have, well, no mention of iFidelity that I can see. But anyway, that's at venturebeat.com, and that was about a week ago. Um, okay. Right, this next link I better read out to you. It's for something called GLTF. Blog.inf, as in information, dot ed, as in education, ed, dot ac dot uk. So blog.inf dot ed dot ac dot uk. This is basically, there's an OpenSim developer, his name Robert Adams, or Mr. Blue, has created a Convoar tool, Convoar, which will convert OpenSim OAR files into GLTF, which is the GL transmission format. And there's a link to a blog post that goes into more detail. Um, the actual GL transmission format, I think it's safe to say that this is a kind of interim format. I mean, it connects to things like Canada, OBJ, or the GLTF formats. Um, IO GLTF is an open source FBX importer, so you've got FBX files involved there too. I should actually investigate this. I'm no expert on this kind of thing, but I do like a fiddle sometimes. Um, and the Kronos group have also created a Unity import-export tool for this format, which is known as Unity GLT TF. Although they do point that some of the tests in Unity, it's not working quite right at the moment in Unity. But anyway, if you're interested in 3D formats and methods of converting things to other things, etc., this may well be of interest to you. One particular note they made is the 3D Web Worlds project, which is Singer Girls Worlds on the Web version, is actually using these conversions to import into their web browser world. Basically, it looks like they're creating neural files in OpenSim and then using this converter to create um, the um, the simulator, as it were, that they then load onto their web page. So useful thing there. The website, by the way, there that I gave you is actually Austin Tate's blog. Austin's pretty well known around the place, um, even though he's got that academic Earl. And yep, I'm flipping. And I don't seem to be running out of pictures on some of this stuff. Um, Yeah, I think we're up to date. There are a few other things there, but they're marked 2 weeks ago, and that means I suspect we actually covered them on the previous one. So let me dispose of those, and I'll go have a quick look at if I can actually see anything up to date on. No, these are actually simply my posts on Google Plus, which is stuff I've already given you elsewhere. And where are we? Where's my other one? Huh. My future. Oh, there we are. My up-to-date list. Just have a quick scan to see if there's anything brand new, sparkling, almost exclusive that I can announce now just coming in. Um, Oculus Quest shows the strengths and weaknesses of virtual reality. This is at a site called fool.com. Does that mean you're a fool if you buy one? I don't know. FOOL.com. Right. Um, in New York, virtual reality puts a human face on the horrors of a Nazi death camp. This is a post at Times of Israel, all one word.com. Um, Virtual reality shooting range is almost a reality. This is at Pilot Online. That's pilot as in airplane pilot, and then online. Pilotonline.com. Pilot online being one word, or written as one word, should I say. Um, okay, have a quickie look. Virtual reality, a technology to push past the pain barrier. This is at a site called breakingmuscle.com. Probably very similar to the report we had in our main feed earlier. Um, Let me see. Really don't want to know about Fox Sports. Um, Facebook's Oculus looking to invest in location-based virtual reality. This is yesterday at variety.com, variet.com, and they claim that report is an exclusive. I haven't read it, and Oculus is probably well, okay. Yep, yeah. If you're interested in the hardware and the Facebook versions of hardware, sounds like you've got an exclusive article of some sort there. And right, moving on. Jurassic World hits on a formula for VR arcade success. That's a post at Forbes, Forbes.com. Um, that's a repeat of something we had a few weeks ago. Cyber Shoes GmbH. Um, this is a post at gamasutra.com, GAMASUTRA, a revolutionary VR accessory just launched on Kickstarter, and it is already funded in 24 hours. Not only is it funded in 24 hours, it's got 300, but three times what it was asking for
Wow.
in 24 hours. So this is the cyber shoes. I think I hinted at earlier.
Right.
Uh, but you know, shoes are shoes. So you're going to move, however fancy they are. You're not going to be on. You're not. It's not like trap out where you're going to be on one spot, is it? Unless it's like roller skates where there's somehow you walk and you don't walk. I really don't know, but
Or maybe
obviously
some
there's
kind
a
of
lot of interest.
walk in
Well,
place
so,
mechanism. Yeah.
yeah, maybe. I mean, it's obviously enough interest in it to raise that kind of money very quickly. But well, I don't know what the money was, but 300 times three times what they wanted in 24 hours is pretty good going. But you know, whether it's gone where nobody realizes they're still walking, or that, no, no, I'm not going to say anything. But also, I haven't got time to open the link, so there you go. Um, Debut in Philadelphia, the Brooklyn Bridge Park in virtual reality, opening in Philadelphia. There you go. Uh, Immerse yourself in Brooklyn Bridge Park, which won the ASLA 2018 Professional General Design Award of Excellence, whatever that be. Well, you can read more about that at asla.org, asla.org. And, right, well, we finished the. Oh, this could be a good one. The Irish Examiner.com. That's Irish as in people of Ireland. And examiner, as in your medical examiner or person who takes your exams kind of thing. Right, so irishexaminer.com. A new initiative uses VR headsets to give students the most realistic experience of road accidents. Um, eh, Good education for kids, isn't it, I suppose? You put them in helmets and then you arrange for them to get run over by a car in virtual reality. And I presume the intention is that when they take their helmet off and go out into the street, they won't make the same mistake twice or something like that. You know, VR can be used for all sorts of things, really. Um, right. Interesting. BBC.com. Tech Tent, time for VR to face reality. A couple of years ago, it seemed virtual reality was finally going to become an important feature in all of our lives. But on Tech Tent this week, we asked whether it's time for the VR industry to get real and admit that most people just aren't ready yet to spend time in virtual worlds. So BBC.com for that one. And oh, Popsky, POPSCI.com. Build your own DIY virtual reality glasses. Um,
Hmm. Oh, popular
I
science. Popular science, right?
yeah.
POPSCI. Yeah.
Materials, safety goggles, piece of cardboard, pencil, craft knife, toast, smartphone. I think basically it's telling you how to make your own Google cardboard, isn't it?
Right. Right.
Oh dear, convert reality treat addiction at the same site. Popsy. And this company wants to be a Netflix of virtual reality. Whoa, ho, ho, load of stuff here. Yeah, but I'm not going to go that far back, so I'm going to call it a day, as it were. There, otherwise we'd be flipping away at our flipboard forever, wouldn't we?
Mhm.
So,
No lack of news. Yeah.
yes, I think I've sort of covered everything. We had a bit of Science Space, a bit of High Fidelity, a bit of OpenSim. Avatar Fest, as I mentioned, still on. And you, James, of course, were over in that other place that isn't on the hypergrid, but they're having a disability rights bonanza or whatever you call it over there yesterday, weren't they? Is it still on to date as well?
No, no, it was
Or
Friday and
no?
Saturday. It was the
Friday, Saturday, yeah.
right, right, and the name's escaping me. I'm terrible that way. Um,
Yes, I kept seeing I think it was their Lobo was posting
yeah,
embeds or news or something from over
Yep,
there. And yeah,
International Disability Rights Affirmation Conference.
that's it.
Hmm.
But when you actually just use the letters, it sounded like something else because I didn't kind of associate virtual ability with the letters.
iDRAC. It reminded me of Drax, Draxter
Yeah, yeah,
Deprez in Second Life.
iDRAC, that was it.
Right.
I thought there were actually two separate conferences on. I thought there's this. I thought this is iDRAC. That Leah's posting this. It must be an educators conference of some sort. And and Virtual Ability got a conference too this week, haven't they? But then of course I clicked that both were the same.
It was quite good.
Um,
It was quite a moving
uh,
conference actually. It's very personal, very intimate stories and examples. So
Yeah, I did see bits of what they were attempting to stream there, and I
yeah,
didn't. It didn't really work because that you can't be everything to everybody. I think, and when sure, if you have a conference, you lay on text transcripts and voice transcripts and stuff like that. But when you're broadcasting on video, it's sort of video itself it limits what you can do. To get that multifaceted environment, you need to actually be in the virtual world, and it's not really one of those things that you can project
well,
out
I
of
tell
it.
my
We can project out of it because we're just talking, and we don't need to worry about every the show is directed at a TV audience. That's it. We don't have to have special requirements for an audience that goes beyond what YouTube's got already.
the power of
Uh,
virtual reality is so profound. But when I propose it to the place where I work, I do have to preface it and say it's probably the most inaccessible media channel that there is because of the technology and the skill set required to participate. It's very high.
yeah. Well, yeah, I think I was realizing recently too. You look at education and and even enterprise where they don't operate on what you might call a magnificent budget.
Hmm.
Most computers these days can handle things like OpenSim and Second Life and virtual worlds. I
Yeah.
mean, once you've got over the learning curve of the software, so it is more accessible in that sense. But if people are waking up to the new worlds like High Fidelity and Samsung and Science Space and stuff, the system requirements, although not particularly great as a rule, are not kind of they're not the average home user's kit,
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah, and nor the average office kit. Sure, sure. Anybody working in a design studio or media or, certain aspects of the enterprise that need high-end kit will have that kit. And, home workers and things will probably be, investing in that kit as they go. But yeah, accessibility for the masses, as it were,
Yeah, yeah, and
is
then add the cultural aspect. I think it's one of your stories that bringing someone into a virtual world and they suddenly had the realization, wait, these are real people behind these characters.
oh yes, yes, my friend. Well, I won't mention her name,
Yeah,
but oh yeah, I've actually seen
it's a
somebody panic
challenge.
over
Yeah,
panic over such what seemed like a small thing.
yeah. No,
Because
it's
it's the
big
sort of thing
though.
that never, it's the sort of thing that never fazed me. Though, it's not as though I landed in somewhere Second Life, a decade and a half ago, and
Yeah,
for so much, I wasn't surrounded by 1,000 people aware of it. I was just talking and saying hello to a couple, and it
right, right.
extended out from there. I mean, once I realised I was in a place with other people, real other people, albeit in avatar form, then whether it was a small group or a large auditorium ceased to bother me. You know,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, and then add to that that you can show up with missing your clothes.
that in the early days was
That was great. Yeah, yeah,
always a kind of yes. There was some. I did. It's not so many years ago. I seen some most embarrassing thing. When you're walking around with somebody and like you don't want to mention that they're naked, but somehow all their tattoos and attachments underneath are fully rest.
right, right,
So you got this very detailed naked body, and there's for some reason the clothes just haven't rest, and you don't know where to mention anything, or whether they just don't care. Eventually when they realise. And we get in open sim quite a bit now. Not that particular subject, as it were, but you'll find somebody in their viewer will be seeing something, and somebody in another viewer won't be seeing it, and so one will have to relog to, fix the glitches or something. In fact, we've done that prior to going on air a
well,
few
true,
times.
right.
I think what's it the other week? There was something wrong with my eyes, according to you.
That's right.
Not
Your
according to
eyes
me.
were not quite
My eyes were absolutely fine, thank you. But you were telling me they were weird.
were
So
not
you
quite
were
set in their sockets. Yeah,
yeah. So you had to reload just to stick my
that's
eyes in my
right.
sockets.
Yep.
But my eyes were in my sockets all along. Although I did have a pair of glasses on too, so it didn't matter. But anyway, yes, you catch the drift. Anyway, any other comments on the news or anything else like that? Or
No, no. I just want to
you
read up on that
yeah.
October 3rd release of from OS Grid about the simulator software. I need to dig
Oh
into
right,
that a little bit
yeah.
more.
Yes, I don't. I'm not sure whether it's a version of the software released by OS Grid because they're called OS Grid software.
Yeah.
It's server software, not a viewer.
Right.
And whether that's in some ways a different strand from the actual core devs, OpenSimulator.org release.
Yep.
Um, maybe they because obviously OS Grid. Now I think about it, I mean they're missing things like the suitcase and stuff like that. So clearly their server
Mm-hmm.
version is obviously substantially different from the publicly distributed version.
Yeah, it is a .91
So
version, so it should be fairly
yeah,
current.
yeah, maybe it's just a version without a suitcase.
Yep.
Who knows? Okay, well, no doubt we will find out. And a reminder again, once again, actually, if you go to conference.opensimulator.org, you can, I think that was it anyway, you can check out the plans for the OpenSim Community Conference this year at the first weekend in December, if I recall. And the call for proposals has gone out already. So if any of you have got ideas about what you'd want to demonstrate or talk about or come on the panel to discuss relating to OpenSim and particularly the things that have changed or happened in the last year, then do get in touch with the website there, and they will then assess everybody's contributions and let you know in the not too distant future whether there's a space for your um, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, nice bit of abstraction
Here,
there.
here. Yep.
Your whatevers. Right. Okay, so bring on your whatevers, folks. Okay, that's it from us this week then. So it's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from him.
And him.
And him.
So yeah, so you can forget about me. It's just him.
It's
And
just him. All one person.
yeah, yeah. Okay, goodbye from the hymns. That's a good one.
Yeah.
The duo of him. The duo of him. That's got a slightly exotic ring to it, hasn't it?
Yeah,
The
unique.
duo of him. Da 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 da. Good night, everybody. We'll be back same time, same place next week with a bit more news. Meanwhile, have a good week. Bye bye.